Hello and welcome to My Dietitian Journey. I'm Felicia, owner and registered dietitian at Paraz Nutrition and My Dietitian Journey. This video will cover the No Surprises Act and good faith estimates. I'll talk about how I handle these in private practice as a dietitian. The No Surprises Act helps to protect uninsured individuals from receiving any unexpectedly high medical bills, especially if the individual receives emergency services or non-emergency services from out-of-network providers at in-network facilities. The No Surprises Act also helps to protect individuals that are covered under group and individual health plans. This act is part of legislation that was passed in December of 2020, and requirements went into effect as of January 1st, 2022. Also under this legislation is a dispute resolution process where an individual can dispute medical bills that are substantially greater than the good faith estimate that they received from a provider. As of January 1st, 2022, the No Surprises Act requirements apply to most items and services for individuals enrolled in private or commercial health coverage. This includes employment-based group health plans, federal employee health benefit health plans, non-federal governmental plans sponsored by state and local government employees, certain church plans within the IRS jurisdiction, defined student health coverage insurance, and individuals on or outside the federal or state-based exchanges. These specific requirements do not apply to beneficiaries or enrollees in Medicare, Medicaid, Indian Health Services, Veterans Affairs Healthcare, or TRICARE. However, these programs do have their own protections against surprise medical bills. This legislation applies to any healthcare provider or facility that operates under the scope of a state license or certification. I mentioned a good faith estimate, which is designed to provide patients with an estimate of how much they will be charged for a service they will be receiving. If you have a patient that comes to your practice and doesn't have health insurance or does not plan to use their health insurance to pay for the service, you would provide them with a good faith estimate of what they may be charged. Any uninsured or self-pay patient is required to be informed of their right to receive a good faith estimate. The No Surprises Act needs to be highlighted on your practice website, and you have to include a link to the information about the No Surprises Act, as well as information about the good faith estimate. The CMS has standardized language that can be utilized for the notification. The good faith estimate includes the expected charges for the service that you will be providing. This is basically an itemized list with specific details. I want to highlight that these are expected charges. It will be based on the information that you, the provider, know at the time you created the estimate. Now, it is much more likely for a hospital or surgical procedure to have unanticipated charges versus dietitian services that are for self-pay. If you provide a good faith estimate to an insured patient, there could be a variation between potentially what the insurance company gave you as information for coverage and then what they actually have covered once the claim has been filed. The timing is also really important for a good faith estimate. If a patient schedules an appointment 10 or more business days in advance, the good faith estimate should be provided within 3 business days. If a patient schedules 3 to 9 business days in advance, the good faith estimate should be provided within 1 business day. If the appointment is within 3 business days, the good faith estimate must be provided at least 3 hours ahead of time. If the patient asks for an explanation of the good faith estimate, you would be required to provide this as well. If a patient is billed $400 or more above the good faith estimate, they may be eligible to dispute the bill. In this case, an independent third party determines how much the patient is required to pay. Here's an example of what a good faith estimate looks like in my practice. All self-pay individuals I see in the practice receive a good faith estimate. I also provide a good faith estimate to insured individuals who may have an out-of-pocket cost, like a deductible to be met, copayment, or coinsurance amount. I utilize simple practice for my EMR, and I can create a good faith estimate right in the patient's profile. This is an example of what it typically would look like. Most of the patient information would auto-populate. However, this is just a test example. On the left is the patient information, so their name, date of birth, address, contact permissions, phone, and email. On the right is my provider information, so the name, NPI, location, and the contact information if the patient had questions. The bottom of the good faith estimate has information about dates of service and the expiration date. The date provided is when I generate the good faith estimate. The diagnosis codes would auto-populate if I already entered them in the patient profile. If not, I would need to add that first since it cannot be manually added here. I would edit the quantity from default 1 to 4 since the initial session is an hour and my usual and customary rate is $180. Now, if a patient has a different estimated cost of care, I would manually change the fee to reflect what their out-of-pocket cost might be. In the notes, I provide a brief description for the patient of what the estimate is. I might say, your insurance company was called and benefits were verified. Per the representative, medical nutrition therapy is subject to your deductible. Visits will be covered at 100% once the yearly deductible is met. If you would like to speak to the office to review your benefit coverage, please call and the phone number. You can also call to verify benefits via your insurance company. Another example, if I'm sending this to a patient to notify of a copayment, I would just modify the language to say, per the representative, medical nutrition therapy is subject to a copayment of $35 or whatever it ends up being. Once completed and saved, I can then send the estimate to the patient. They are notified to log into their portal to review and sign as acknowledgement. I hope that this was helpful as an overview to the No Surprises Act and good faith estimates. Thanks so much for listening, and reach out if you have any questions.